Hi everybody, it's Will from the Knights of IoT here. I thought I would take you through a use case that we have. This is smart heating, and this is from mine and Sarah's house, so one that's really relevant to both of us. So without further ado, here we go. So the problem that we have is that we've got a small house here. We've got radiators dotted throughout the house. Where I like to work, this front room here, this is where I'm sat right now. We've got big radiator down here. We've got one in the hallway. Our thermostat was installed in this room here. And of an evening, very frequently we would have the door closed to keep all the heat in this room, in the living room kitchen area. So it's nice and cozy. But this would heat up to the temperature at the thermostat and then it would switch off. Exactly like it's planned to do. So we would go up to bed, be freezing upstairs in the bedroom, and very cold. On the flip side, in the morning, kitchen and living room area would have heated up lovely, but it would be cold upstairs. Radiator would be cold in the bathroom to heat the towels, all that sort of stuff. So we begin looking into how we can fix that. Then also, when I moved in full time, I work from this front room and I'm at home during the day. So I sit in the office, working from home some days of the week, very erratic schedule, nothing ever set or the same. And so I sometimes, instead of trying to heat the whole house, put the heating on, I would quite like to just heat the study bedroom up. So that's the problem. How did we try and fix this problem? Well, what we did, we looked into several options. I'm going to detail some of those in the blog post that accompanies this, but we looked at several smart heating options. We could have just gone for a smart thermostat, something like a Nest. Decided against that. We looked at zonal heating. So zonal heating basically puts one of these kind of thermostatic radiator valves on each of your radiators around the house, and then it means you can heat those zones and just control the temperature in those zones. So instead of moving your measurement point from just having one thermostat in the living room like we used to have, we would actually be moving to a thermostat on every single radiator around the house. So there's a few different systems out there that we looked at utilizing, but in the end I settled on the system from Schneider Electric, Drayton. So this is the Drayton Wiser system. And what that involved was us installing a box on the boiler, and then these thermostatic radiator valves on every radiator around the house, except for two radiators. You need a heat sink, a radiator that's not linked to this, so that you don't end up in some kind of cyclical control loop. So the radiator in the hallway, this one here, this one is not on the system, though it just will heat up like the others. And the one actually upstairs in the bathroom, the towel rail doesn't have the right kind of radiator stat, which is great because actually that means it's hot when anything else is heating up, and that's really useful for us. So that's the setup in the house. How it looks and works. So you have a box installed on the boiler that's like the boiler controller. The radiator valve goes, I want some heat, and kicks the boiler on, and you'll hear the radiator actuate, open, and heat come flooding into the radiator. It's controlled through an app, naturally. So this is the home screen for that app. It's got all your individual rooms laid out in there. So each room here, it's got the set point, that's the number on the left hand side in the coloured box, and the current temperature on the right hand side, so that shows you how hot the room is. Naturally, if the current temperature is less than the set point, the boiler will kick in, there'll be a little flame heating up the room, and that's how that will work. You can then drill down into each of the rooms. So I'll show you here. In each of the rooms, you can set a specific schedule. So here, this shows our schedule for the bedroom. Bedroom heats up to 20 degrees between 6 and 7 o'clock. And the controller is clever enough to try and calculate the outside temperature and ramp up in time to be 20 degrees at 6 o'clock. So you don't have to fiddle around with trying to turn your heating on before you need it. You just say when you want it and it will provide it. So you'll see the bedroom there is pretty static throughout the day. But you can also change the temperature in the app. You can just boost by 30 minutes. So you can say, right, I want the radiator on for 30 minutes by 2 degrees. And that's just like an instant button press, just called a boost, that you can do in there. You can also manually do that on the valves on the radiator. So you can twist the head to the positive or the negative, and that will change the set point on them as well. So there's some manual control for people that don't like apps and applications. Final slide here is that there's actually some data now. We didn't have this when we first started, but this is now available. I think we've had this nearly 3 years this year. You can track days and weeks, multiple rooms, and compare them against each other to see how the boiler's performing and how it's doing. And you can see how it's working against the actual outside temperature. And you'll remember on the first page, it actually shows you how much heating you've saved by having this system. So I think we're on 8% saving for this month currently. Less so over the winter because the heating is working a lot more frequently. So just some of the positives and negatives of the system. It's been really, really easy to use. Sarah and I both have it on our phones and we can both use it no problem. The setup was very simple. We had a electrician come and install it on the boiler to maintain the boiler certificate and integrity. That was done within a day. The valves are easy to install on the radiators. Some of them arrived after that installation and I was able to do that no problem. So very, very simple, easy once you've kind of got into your routines. Some of the challenges we have, I've been using rechargeable batteries because you have an AA battery in there to power the valve, and the battery life, we've had some issues around that, mainly because I'm trying to work on rechargeables instead of just throwing batteries away, and it seems like lithium ion rechargeables aren't designed for these kind of thermostatic valves, perhaps something to do with the battery voltage and how it reads. And you also need to think about your entire schedule throughout the week and how that rolls. So that's just some of the challenges, and perhaps sometimes your schedule doesn't quite work for your real life. But yeah, it's been great for us. It solved that problem immediately. It's brilliant for me in the winter when I'm working from home. I can close the door, just heat up my study. It has an away mode, so when we go away on holiday, we can set that up so we're comfortable with the house. It'll just put everything on a constant set point in the house, so just to heat it from frost protection. We come home early, we can turn that on. If we're coming late back from a meal out and it's a bit chilly, we can just flick the heating on. The only thing is they rely on you remembering to do that, and for me, geofencing and heating don't really go hand in hand, because geofencing, say Sarah works very close, for example, comes home at lunch, she leaves and comes back within range of the house. It's not going to have heated up in time for it to really have made an impact. You need hours really for any kind of big temperature change. But it's wicked, love it, and wouldn't ever go back to just a conventional system after having one of these. So hope you like that. We're going to have an accompanying blog post to this, which just details some of the costings around it, some of the things I explored at the time, some of the things that are available now. And you can check out our WordPress site and our YouTube channel for more information. So yeah, see everybody, take care.